What's up, everybody? This is Robert from in real time from the Washington County Jail, I guess you'd say. Anyway, I want to give a few announcements on what's coming, probably starting today or later on this evening. First of all, I need to say to my friend over there, Blood on the Razor Wire, Chad Marks, you have a super fan in here, Chad, a real super fan, and the title of the video is going to be called "The Gay White Male in the Washington County Jail." Sorry. Chad, I don't know if I want to just keep laughing or if I want to apologize ahead of time, but anyway, brother, any way you want to do it, I can make it stop. I mean, I'm thinking it'd be cheap, like, $100 a week every Monday. Joking. But, yeah, got a super fan, Chad. You'll be hearing, just listen to the end of the tape. Next, there's a guy in here who's actually a really, really good spiritual poet, and he's going to be on here probably tomorrow. So I think the gay white male will be today, and later on the poet more than likely tomorrow. And then I have a story about DEA agents falsifying affidavits, or a DEA agent. I think there's 2 of them involved, and that's what I'm going to do. And I want to share a few thoughts about something to judges and prosecutors in the Western District of Arkansas, Fayetteville, and Fort Smith. And I'm not just speaking to my judge in particular, but in the last few days, since I've been here, there's 4 or 5 federal inmates in the pod with me. And of course, when guys haven't been to the feds, they want to know all about the federal systems, all about the sentencing, all about everything, And I listen to the stories, and 3 of them in here really stick out on guys that are facing guideline sentences. Now, let me be clear. Federal system has a guideline book which the judges and prosecutors look at. They have what's called a pre-sentence report after somebody is either found guilty or pleads guilty, and they use that guideline range. They're advisory. They're not mandatory. They used to be mandatory. They're no longer mandatory. This is very important. In the case, there's this one guy in here, and I'm not going to put his name out. I kind of mentioned that they don't really know I'm doing this, but they're not going to be upset. There's a guy in here, early 30s, went to prison 19, family structure was terrible. In prison, he probably would have done 5 years in the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, but he ended up maxing out his time, doing 11 years on I think it was 11-year sentence. Joined a predominant white prison gang, and while he was in prison, did everything he could do for his, quote, family, unquote, and that is the white prison gang. Did all the right things in the eyes of the prison system, in the eyes of a convict, in the eyes of a gang member, made his bones, rose up the ranks, and in prison he had everything and anything he wanted. He was locked down in prison for 4 or 5 years in a single cell. While in the single cell, he had access to cell phones, drugs, cheeseburgers flown in by drones. That's the truth. Got out of prison, and when he got out, didn't know how to rent an apartment, didn't know anything. Out on the streets, he was nothing. The only person he can really turn to was his former people from prison, which, of course, a lot of those have illegal connections. Met a girl. The girl is a player. She has, let's just say, somewhere around 80 people she can distribute drugs to, anywhere from a gram of methamphetamine up into ounces or even pounds. She's not got the right connect. All he has is a connect, but he doesn't know any distributors. He's got nowhere to go. Long story short, he hooks up with this girl, not in a sexual way, in a criminal way, gets busted with 11 pounds of methamphetamine. To some people, that would be like, oh my God, that's a lot. I'm sorry, people, it's not anymore. It used to be, and I know that amount of meth has societal consequences. I get it. Not like it used to. It just doesn't. Given the volume of methamphetamine in this country, given the volume in just this area, it's not even a ripple in the bigger pond. It's not. And I know people don't like to hear that, but it's the 11 pounds today is the equivalent of a half a pound yesterday. 11 pounds of ice doesn't even equal one in money wise, monetary wise, does not even add up to a kilo of cocaine. It's just the way it is because there's too much meth in this country. Anyway, gets pulled over, 11 pounds. He gets pulled over. 11 pounds of ice is found, I think some fentanyl pills. I don't want to get into the case. Anyway, girl gets out. Why? She's actually, it's her drug ring. He was just one of many connections. He just happened to be able to get more at one time instead of her going out on the streets and scrambling and getting a pound here and a pound here and a pound there. So she gets out because, like a lot of cases, she has a vagina. She cries, I'm the mother of the year and I need to be with my kids. And they let her out. Meanwhile, she gets out. She continues her drug trafficking distribution network. He sits in here facing the guideline range of 24 to 31 years. 24 to 31 years. All he did was get out of prison, and I'm not downplaying what he did, nor would he. Again, I'm not downplaying that he's a drug trafficker. He already pled guilty. He's waiting, nor would he. Who is responsible in that case? Who's the major player in that case? It's not him. It's the girl who's out on the streets doing what she always did. But because of his background, because he came to prison at the age of 19, and all he did was join the family in his eyes. That's really what he did. I'm not saying that that's right either. It's the decision he made as a 19-year-old kid, and now he sits in here he's 30 years old, hoping to get a sentence of 24 years, hoping that they give him the lower end of the guidelines. And this is what I have to say about that, and this is just one example. To the judges, I'm sorry, I don't want to single. To the judges and prosecutors involved in cases like this, I ask you to look deeper behind the scenes of these crimes. I know your time is limited. I know your resources are limited. I think, I don't know how much your budgets are, I guess. In this case, I guess a prosecutor would think he was doing leniency by recommending that the judge give him the lower end of the guidelines. I would ask a judge and a prosecutor to make a bolder decision. Make bold decisions. Look deeper. 24 years, bottom of the guidelines. Let's pretend that he cooperated for a second, even though he exercised his constitutional right not to. His constitutional right not to, okay? If he would have cooperated, it was going to do nothing to the girl's conspiracy who was below him. Nothing. Not one thing. She has a vagina, they let her out. She has kids, Fred Mother of the Year, let her out. Make a bolder decision. Cut that in half. I'm not saying his time particular. I'm just saying you can do bigger, better things. The guidelines are advisory. They're no longer mandatory. That's just my thought on that. And I hope that resonates somewhere. I hope that was a good example. And not, I'm singling his case because that's probably the most tragic because of the amount of time he's facing. But I can name 3 more. I just wanted to put that out there. So you're going to have the gay white male coming today with a message for Chad. And the poet will be probably tomorrow, and then Monday I'll do the DEA story. And then next week I will probably give you guys a break, so I'll probably be in the hole for a few days. But we'll see where it goes. Take care. Bye.